All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Betting by the Numbers, a sports betting YouTube and Discord channel dedicated to taking the decision-making process out of the hands of idiots like me and put it in the hands of people who win. We are back after another 4 and 6 night on PrizePicks. We were right there. You can see LeBron started the game early, had, I think, 4 assists in the first quarter, and just decided not to pass the ball to anybody else who wanted to score. Really surprising with AD getting that many points. LeBron doesn't get the assists, but it's the way it goes sometimes. And then I believe it was Andrew Wiggins fell 2 points short. Again, right pick, 2 points short. You're going to miss sometimes. We're working on some new ideas with using ballparkpal and other websites to maybe find some more niche picks in baseball to try to get some more value there. So let's just get into the slate. We can see it's a little bit less in terms of the playoffs tonight, but we still have a lot of baseball, so it should be plenty of betting opportunities today. One game in the NBA tonight, Sixers Celtics. Embiid appears to still be doubtful. He won his MVP award yesterday, but it does not appear that he will be playing in Game 2. 76ers obviously win Game 1 after an enormous performance from James Harden. So you can see just from the betting lines, we're back at this 10-point favorite number for the Celtics, 52% of the tickets, but 70% of the cash. Obviously, I think the Celtics are probably the play here, which is going to impact some of our decision-making process in basketball. We'll be checking for maybe blowout scores just to give an idea. Maybe the Sixers hang in there again, but I think that the Celtics got punched in the face and they have to have a big game tonight. The money's showing that, right? 10-point favorites, and you're getting more and more cash than tickets. So you think that the Celtics, at least money line, is a good play. Obviously, no value there, so we're looking for maybe some props to add on. So other playoffs for today, we have 2 games in the ice. We got New Jersey and Carolina. Carolina opened at -113, gone to -117 with 69 and 80% of the cash on them and tickets. And Edmonton, Vegas will be the nightcap. Edmonton opened at -107, gone to -114. But 83% of the tickets, or 63% of the tickets and 83% of the cash on Edmonton. So Edmonton, a slight dog favorite. Carolina, a slight home favorite. Sorry, and I didn't mean dog. Edmonton is a away favorite. So Vegas is a home dog. So I honestly, you can see these are more coin flip bets than anything right now, but there's also not a lot of money. We'll kind of watch those lines again throughout the day. Let's quickly go over to ballparkpal to just get an idea of the weather for May 3rd. We can see still that same trend of cold and lower scores. And let's see if that's been translating. Let's see if we go over to MLB scores. Yesterday, there was a lot of down runs due to weather. Let's kind of just get an idea of where runs were scored yesterday. I mean, there were 2, 3 high score. It looks like 3, 4 high scoring games, and then everything else was much lower. And a lot of these were some of the places I remember seeing. Now it's not all, but like Cubs, Nationals, Guardians, Yankees, Braves. Okay, so I think there is some correlation. Certainly, I mean that makes sense, right? It's not going to be perfect. There's going to be things that break the rules, but like, guess what? Coors Field's going to probably have more home runs, especially if there's wind blowing to the outfield. So you can see not a lot of impact in this middle set of weather, but some of these other games to be watching for. We can see like at the Nationals Park, it's going to be cold and windy, and the wind does not appear to be blowing in the direction we want, which means that there is going to be some problems. So something to watch when we get ready to handicap these games. So let's get ready for the prize picks now. Okay, so we're starting out on Prop Professor, which is usually where we're going to start finding our lines. For those of you that are new to the channel, what we're looking for here is positive expected value when we're making our prize picks picked. What I mean by that is PrizePicks is a fixed odds platform, meaning it doesn't matter if I go in and I select Jason Tatum, James Harden, Jaylen Brown, if I select more, if I select less. If I do a 5 or 6 pick flex, which you can see here, if I add all of these, which you can't do for some of the rules, but if I add these all, you can see the flex play. 5 and 6 pick flexes are minus 119. If I'm finding here odds that are over at different sports books, so you can see, for example, Andrew Heaney's strikeouts at 5.5. Well, if I want to place that exact same bet at FanDuel, the odds are minus 146, which means the sports books are adjusting based on both their own data, the bets they're getting in, their very expensive and independent line setting processes have made them, put some more value on these picks than the minus 119 we're going to have to pay, creating expected value. Over time, we consistently put these EV slips into our prize picks, into our parlay plays, into these player prop apps that have fixed odds, and the gains just continue. I mean, if you've been following along, if you've been placing these slips that we're posting, the amount of times that we have a 1 or 2 out of 6 hit, I can't remember the last time, right? Everything you have a chance, which is really all you can ask for. So at this channel, we not only look at maybe these odds, but we also look for some other value to back that up, right? There's a lot of valuable plays here based on the odds of different sports books. So we try to find a way to find 6 picks out of this group. So we will start off with Robert Williams, points over. We'll head to props.cash. You can see here in the last 30, he's hit this 16 of 30 times. In the playoffs, he's hit it 4 of 7. But against Philly in the playoffs, he only had 6 in the last game. He had 14. I think a bounce back performance by Boston is important here, especially with Embiid out. I think that it just allows Williams to maybe get some more points. The game plan is going to be a little different. So we're going to go back to prize picks. Obviously, if something pops up that makes us feel a little more confident, but getting it at that 7 line also helps. That's what we call push line. And the reason I feel better about it is we get a little bit of a cushion. It doesn't mean that it's always the best pick, but this is what's important. Look, we're going to use 7 as our line, right? But at all these other books, you're not only having to pay minus 122, but you're having to do it at 7.5. That means that line's likely or maybe going to move to 8, and we're only going to be at 7 right now. So there's an advantage to getting up early and getting these picks in. So we locked in that pick. So we will now head over to ballparkpal, where we're going to check out these picks. You can see there is a PrizePicks and Underdogs tool that's available free. And I like to use this for some of our pitching props and other props over on the diamond. So we're going to head over to, let's see, it might not be added yet, or I'm crazy. Let's see. Heaney does not look like it's allowing us to do this strikeout, unless I'm crazy. Okay. So let's just check some other lines. Evan Bouchard over 2.5 shots. I used you in the last line. I don't think it worked. So, this is a good line. Michael Porter, 13.5 points, minus 162 at Pinnacle. That is enormous. The reason that's a big deal for those of you who are starting out watching this series, Pinnacle is known as some of the sharpest lines, just with the amount of volume that they get bet. They have to be great, and they are. So following their odds is usually a good way to be on the right side of what you need. However, that game would be for tomorrow, wouldn't it? So let's hold on to that one for now, and maybe we go back there. I forgot about that. So, but man, that's a really good line. Let's see, Alek Manoah under 4.5 strikeouts. You should be on there. So you can see, looking at the implied odds for Alek Manoah, minus 152 for strikeouts over here at ballparkpal. If we go to the props.cash and look up Alek Manoah, we can see that Boston does not strike out. They're the least amount of striking out team in the league. You can see that he's hit this line several times, but obviously this is a different adventure. Minus 135. I like this pick. Minus 152 value based on Ballpark Pal. And you can see he's hit this line a lot. Boston does not give up. Also, let's go to the pregame tab and see where this game is occurring. It's a home game for Boston. So that means he's also away. Let's see if that's affected. He's been right at that line before, but let's see. He faced Boston last year, struck out 7, but I like this. Boston, you can see they just don't strike out as much. 4-1-4. I mean, they have their performances, but I think this is a good game. And the weather for the Toronto-Boston, it's going to be cold and windy. Yeah, I like that. So let's go to the MLB tab. We're going to go under and head back to Prop Professor. So let's see. Jonathan Marchand over 2.5 shots on goal. Let's head to props.cash, the NHL tab, where we will navigate over to shots on goal. Jonathan, we can see against Edmonton, he's hit this line in 6 of the 8 in the last 2 seasons, including 3 or 4 this season. In the playoffs, he has not been hitting this line as often, but Edmonton gives up a lot more shots on goal than Winnipeg did. Minus 125 odds over here, the implied odds over the last 10. Now, something that's important, Vegas were home. Does that seem to impact anything for him? You can see when he plays Edmonton at home, he's hit this line both times this year. In the playoffs, these were the 2 performances that he hit his 2 against Winnipeg. I like this. So let's go over to the NHL tab, add Jonathan Marchand, over 2.5 shots on goal. Boy, what an adventurous group of 3 people. So let's go back to Prop Professor and find some more. We can see here, we see some more total bases. This is why we like Prop Professor. So we're going to, or rather Ballpark Pal, to assist us in us a little bit. The reason why is if we head over to all bets, and now not every pick is going to be on here, but it's always good to just give it a look. So Connor Capel wasn't on here. Let's see if Nick Allen is. Does not look like it. And let's see. Pavin Smith, Elvis Andrews. Okay. Elvis Andrews over 163 bases. You can see this is what I think is really important if you can find these matchups. You can find where it's a very good matchup for Elvis Andrews. You can see here there's a strong advantage for Andrews just based on the pitching matchup between the 2. If we head over to the MLB tab on props.cash, again, we're just looking for something here to give us a little more confidence to differentiate between these 5 or 6 different things. We're going to be looking up Elvis Andrews for the White Sox. We can see he's never gotten a hit off Varland in his 6 plate appearances. He hits better off of lefties than righties this year. No one's hitting great off of Varland, to be honest, but he's only faced that many 30 batters. He didn't get a hit yesterday. I like this. Obviously, there was a strong advantage for it. Let's add him to the lineup. I like that. Again, maybe we find somebody who sells us a little bit more, but I like, except that's not the right person. Thank you for double checking. Elvis Andrews. That's who needs to be added. There we go. Okay. So we head back to Prop Professor and we look for the next line. Let's check out Robbie Grossman's bases, see if that one we like a little bit more. Not up on there yet. We can see Tyrese Maxey rebounds. I think I did that in the last one and it lost. So watch that one a little bit more. Let's see. Braxton Garrett under strikeouts, 4.5. Let's check out this line a little bit more and see if we like that one more. No, not as much there. And we can actually go over here, which is helpful, and we can go to starting pitchers. So we can compare Braxton Garrett's line is 4.5. Alex Meadows 4.1. Yeah, I think we have the right pick in there in terms of our strikeout line. So let's see where else we can see. Alec Thomas over bases. Is that one going to be on here? Does not look like it. Yep. One thing we are going to check, and this is where I've been coming over to ballparkpal, is we're going to look for where there are heavy implied over odds in terms of some of our pitching lines. They will add fantasy lines later, which I have found to be very good. But one we're going to look for here is Seth Lugo over strikeouts. The reason why is they're going to look for these matchups where there are heavy strikeout teams. And you can see here Cincinnati strikes out a lot. Yesterday, they gave up 7 strikeouts to Blake Snell. We only need 5 here. We can see this line has been hit by Lugo in 4 of 5. Last year, he faced Cincy and didn't hit this line as much, but we can see that it's been much better this year in terms of strikeouts. I'm going to add that to our line. Let's see if he is on the Prop Professor. Doesn't look like it, but I like this line a lot. Let's get that locked in. Wrong one. We had Seth Lugo. So we like, what? Am I going crazy now? I guess that line's not on there yet. Or they must have taken it off. That could be it. Obviously, if Ballpark Pal liked it, then makes sense that they wouldn't offer it elsewhere. Is Ohtani's lineup 6.5? Let's look at his strikeouts. 186 here. If we go to props.cash, Ohtani's strikeouts 6.5. St. Louis doesn't strike out as much this year. Like, people don't hit their lines as much. But like Kershaw, 6.5 and hit 9. This is in LA, which I think is important. At home this year, he's been better. I know St. Louis. All right, yeah, I'm good with this one. Let's go over to strikeouts. Please be on here. Okay, so we're gonna add you to strikeouts. We're at 5 now. We still have some more to look for. We're going to give this a refresh and see if there aren't any more lines here. Let's look. So we are looking for either some heavy favorites or some, big lines like -202, but you can see that line's already been adjusted at PrizePicks going from the 2.5 to 2. So we're looking for elsewhere. Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart over points, rebounds, assists, -138, -139 at Pinnacle. Basically flat odds across. Let's check out both of those lines and see if we don't like one or the other on the NBA tab. So we head over to props.cash. Navigate to the NBA tab where we look up Jaylen Brown, points, rebounds, and assists. You can see he has missed this line last time. But I think in his last game too, yeah, it was 33.5 in his last game. He missed it by a point. We like to think that he's going to have a better performance this game. He is at home, which certainly has helped. You can see other than the one Atlanta game. On 1 day rest, he's hit this in 19 of 22. Against Philly at home, he's hit it in, he's off by 1 point in the last game. We like to think that it's a bigger Celtics bounce back. I like this line. So let's just compare this with Marcus Smart's. Marcus Smart kind of tells the same story. In the playoffs, he's hit this line. He did hit it against Philly last game. On 1 day rest, it's not nearly as much, but he has hit that against Philly both times at home. He's hit it in 3 of 4 against Philly. I like both of these picks, but I think I might follow the numbers a little bit more with Jaylen Brown. Not a lot of ways to differentiate between these two. Let's see. Man, that is just a tight line. Man, that 1 day rest is what just gets me. I mean, that is just so big for Jaylen Brown. 1 day rest at home. He's hitting this almost every game. And against Philly, I like it. I'd rather have Jaylen Brown in the lineup. So let's go back over to NBA. Get Jaylen Brown, points, rebounds, assists, 33.5, and add that to the lineup. So this is 6 now. We still weren't sold on this one, but Boston doesn't strike out, so that is important. So let's see if there are anything else that really catches our fancy. I haven't found a lot of love for any of these baseball lines. We can see here, if we're looking at PrizePicks only, Elvis Andrus, Tristan Casas is some of our best lineups. Let's see. This is a extreme advantage for Tristan Casas. Let's see if he is on. There he is. Minus 122 at Pinnacle, minus 129 at Caesars. Let's go to his MLB page where we will navigate to Tristan Casas. He's not on strikeout, so they're not going to find him there. But if we go to this, he's going to be right there. We can see he has faced Manoah twice and did not get a hit. He hits better off of lefties than righties, but lefties hit worse off of Manoah. So all of the stats you want are not in his favor. So I don't love this pick. Obviously, it says there's an extreme advantage for him, but it seems like a lot of it's on not getting struck out and on getting walks, which doesn't necessarily translate to hits for me. Man, it's ballparkpal really likes this pick, but I don't want to live and die by. Yeah, we're not going to. Is this the lineup? The one that concerns me is still that Alek Manoah, and it's just based on that we know Boston doesn't strike out, but he's hit this line so many times. Man, I like that. I'm still going to keep it. And PrizePick, I think, really liked it too, right? Strikeouts was minus 152. Okay. Let's see. I think this is it. Let's check this Nico Hischier over shots on goal in the NHL. You can see the lines for minus 125 and minus 130. We go over here to shots on goal, but that's we can see when he's played Carolina, hit this line. But Carolina does not give up shots on goal. I don't love that. I mean, the lines here are great, right? He's hit it almost every game in the playoffs. Things are good, but I don't love that Carolina just does not give up shots on goal, and he hasn't hit that line in the last 2 against Carolina. I don't love it. We might just lock it in. Do we lock it in? These are all lines for later. I think we might do it. Okay, let's do it. This is the lineup. Robert Williams over 7 points. Alex Manoah under 4.5 strikeouts. Jonathan Marchessault over 2.5 shots on goal. Elvis Andrus, the White Sox over bases. Ohtani over 6.5 strikeouts against Cardinals. And Jaylen Brown over 33.5 points, rebounds, and assists. This would pay out 25 times on a 6 out of 6 correct. You can see a $20 entry would win $500. We've talked about safe betting here and continuing to use the correct strategies when approaching positive EVs. Look, if you just bet way too much and it's not profitable for you, this is not going to be the page for you, and it's not going to be something that's going to work long-term for you. Doesn't mean it's not going to work, but it just means it's not the way we're doing it. So, again, stay within your means, bet what you have, take this advice, what you have, you do your own research, feel good about these picks. But I believe these are the 6 that are going to hit for us today. We'll have more picks as more come out, especially with these pitcher fantasy scores, batter fantasy scores. There's been some large advantages, especially over on ballparkpal we'll be watching to compare with the EV data. So Thanks for following along. Subscribe, like, tell your friends. We're just trying to get people educated so they're not just giving money to PrizePicks for free. So thanks for tuning in, and we will be back tomorrow.